Thanks, Chris. I come here a lot because Green Bank is such a wonderful gift from American Family Insurance to everybody in Madison, and I am really happy to be an evangelist for these types of events. And just so you understand where that comes from, I started coming here this time last year, and over that year, I met Spencer X. Smith, I wrote a book, we created a podcast. All of these things may not have direct ties to Dream Bank, but I'll tell you a lot of the inspiration and energy certainly comes from that which is generated by this wonderful event and venue. So if you're here for the first time, it won't be your last. And if you've been coming here forever, keep doing it, because even when this shifts to a different location, it's going to be a wonderful thing for Madison at large and for each and every one of us individually. At any rate, I'm DP Knudten. As Chris so ably said, I'm a collaborator. And what I do is I collaborate, and I believe one thing for certain, that every brand has an image, every image tells a story, and every story needs collaborators. That's kind of the way I wrap up what I do, because what I do is a little bit difficult to understand, but hopefully I'll be explaining it through the course of this discussion. Recognize that guy? That's Spencer X. Smith, and if you've been breathing and living in Dane County for more than 12 months, you've undoubtedly run across him online, on Instagram, LinkedIn, digital channels of all sorts, or come to one of his many great events here at Dream Bank or other places around town. Why? Because he's really got a great idea, and we got to know each other very quickly in January, literally, of 2017. He's got a place on the web, spencerxsmith.com, where you can dive in and you'll find out that not only does he have great ideas, he's also one heck of a speaker who I think did 76 speaking engagements around the United States last year. And well, he's the Energizer bunny that I take my inspiration from, especially when it comes to trying to give back and to speak in front of groups and share what we've come to learn, not theoretically, but by actual rubber hits the road doing it. And this is a great example of that, this talk today, because literally April 17th of 2017, Spencer and I got together at the Lone Girl Brewing Company in Waunakee, Wisconsin, the only Waunakee in the world. And we had a burger for dinner, and he asked me a very simple question: would you like to write a book with me? And I'm like, about what? And he said, Rhettoma. Now, I had been to one of his talks previously, so I understood that Rhettoma was actually an acronym that stands for the Return on Top of Mind Awareness. The premise of the book, as we started talking about what the book would be and what it would really be trying to illuminate, was that a lot of people will ask the question about social media: what's the ROI, the return on investment of my time, my energy, my money, my bandwidth on doing social media? And the premise of the book is that's the wrong question. And we go on to 214 pages explaining why, and not only why, but how to do that which generates that wonderful top-of-mind awareness via social media. I'm not here to litigate the book. I'm here to talk about the making of the book. This is a meta commentary on publishing that book. A real big question, and that's the first question, which is, do we want to publish traditionally or do it yourself? I don't know about Spencer. I don't have any publishers in the family. I don't have any literary agents. I don't have any pressmen or women who own printing presses that'll do this for me. I don't have any entree to any of these people. So when we started talking about is it traditional or do it yourself, DP stands for do it yourself. Paul Knudten. And so do it yourself was definitely the route we were going to take. But not only that, it was do it yourself ASAP. Why? Because we had specific goals. And those specific goals were a little bit different. And every writer's going to have different goals. In the case of Spencer and myself, our goals were not necessarily to be in every Barnes & Noble across the country, although it would be great. It was to sell at presentations, like today. If you're a speaker and you don't have a table at the back of the room where you can do autographs and sign up on email lists and things like that, you are missing a mammoth opportunity to not only sell the book, but to make a connection, to build a relationship. So our book was not necessarily about making immediate sales, it was about building a relationship in face-to-face opportunities like presentations, very similar to what we're doing today. Another one, we wanted it to raise our personal professional profiles, our individual professional profiles. And what better way to do it than to get something that has what I call plonk factor. I can send you any email, I can send you thousands of emails, and the effective physical weight of those emails, if you don't print them out, is nothing. I give you one of these, and it makes an impression because it literally makes an impression. There's physical weight there. I like to say there can be no residual effect if there is no residue. This is the residue. Another one, build thought leader presence. One of the big things in the book is talking about how social media continually can allow you to express and impress your thought leadership to your specific sectors of endeavor, human endeavor, by continually putting little bite-sized pieces of information that people can engage with. That builds you as a thought leader. Thought leaders are valued. Thought leaders are invited to speak at conferences. Thought leaders drive people to buy books because, wow, there are some great ideas. I hope they're in the book. All those things. Thought leader presence. Act, and this is the residual thing again. We wanted it to act as a physical top-of-mind reminder. I knew this was exactly the right effect when I was listening to a podcast, and he was interviewing somebody who is into the Stoic philosophers. And this guy, he's a startup guy. He's saying, what books do you like to read and all that? And he said, well, I like Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosophers. And he said, well, when's the last time you read Marcus Aurelius? And he said, well, actually, it's right here on my desk. You can't be on someone's desk if you can't be on the desk. This can be on the desk. Oh, and by the way, we need it now. Guess what? We live in the perfect Marx society. The means of production have devolved to the people. And that production means is do it yourself, print on demand. And that's the path that I'm going to be taking you down. This is not a theoretical path. This is the actual physical path that Spencer and I took to create this book in 137 days. Our choice was obvious. We need to self-publish. Maybe some editor somewhere is going to see this book eventually and say, hey, you guys are smart. Why don't you write a book for us? Take some of the stuff you did there, but maybe amplify on it. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But I know it can't happen if we don't have this. This is the path I'm going to take you on. Meister to Scrivener, to Word, to CreateSpace, to available at Amazon.com. If some of those things don't make sense to you, don't worry, all shall be illuminated. Starting with my personal #1 trade secret for writers, which is MindMeister, or by extension, mind mapping. If you're a veteran mind mapper, you know the power of that tool. If you've never done it, you need to do it now. If you're an outliner, you're already mind mapping, but you're doing it in a forced linear way. What if you can do outlining in a non-linear way that allows you to constantly adjust and play what-if scenarios with, well, what if I introduce that character later and bring this one inciting incident earlier? Well, how would that affect the flow? All that stuff. That can happen when you mind map. And in the case of how you don't have to do that, I point to this guy. Do you know Wayne Breitbarth? He's here all the time talking about LinkedIn. And if you're interested in how to really leverage LinkedIn for your business, Wayne Breitbarth has the #1 selling book on Amazon called The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. Really great guy. He and I met, we had a conversation. We were talking about our respective book experiences. He said, well, when my wife and I were looking at what I had written on the blog that he had done successfully for several years, we realized there was enough material there to form into a book. So what we did was, we printed out every blog post, went to a resort in Colorado, got a conference room, and we physically laid out every blog post around a table, and then spent all day moving one to there, and one to there, and one over here, and that doesn't make sense because we need to introduce this one earlier. they were physically doing what mind mapping via tools like Meister allow you to do digitally. Now, I'm showing you a screenshot of Meister, and we used Meister because I needed to share this with Spencer, and Spencer is West Side and Wanakee. I'm Sun Prairie, and frankly, I don't like to leave my house, and he's too damn busy, so the only time we can get together is in digital space. So Meister is a free, for up to 3 mind maps, resource that allows you to do the physical things of mind mapping. So, and I like to think big, and I like to think small, and I like to think medium, and then small, then big, then medium, then small. I'm all over the place because I'm a writer, right? I'm like a fly in a kitchen. I'm going over here for some apple, and then over here for some bacon grease, and over here for whatever else. My mind's all over the place, and what I want to do is capture those things and keep them captured. The way to do that is mind mapping. So in this case, the Rotoma universe, just first thing I'm thinking of is, well, we need to have a book. Not only that, a 2017 edition. Why? Because there's going to be a 2019 edition and a 2022 edition. I'm not worrying about the others yet, but I'm already planting the seed in my fertile mind, right? Expanded editions, what does that mean? Well, we're going to need to have the book. And then we're going to need to have the workshop version of the book that takes this and then combines worksheets that we can then have a 2 to 4 hour workshop where we take people. Don't need to worry about that, need to capture it. And then the website. Already thinking website before we type a single keystroke? Absolutely. Because if you don't have a website, you don't have a physical presence on the web that you can immediately push people to. So again, you don't need to worry about all this stuff. You need to capture it. Mind mapping's a way to do that. So here, boom, I blow up the book edition, and you can see a lot of discrete ideas or chapters, or, oh, here's a cool idea for a chapter title. Or, oh, don't forget, I want to make sure that people understand who's writing each section, so we have to have individual little thumbnail portraits, which you can see in the book. Just ideas like that. Like, what's the type style going to be? Oh, here's a specimen of type that I really like. I'm going to put that type specimen in the mind map. And then it serves as a conversation point for Spencer and I as we go through the book. Because while I'm going to be doing the publishing of it, he's the co-author, and we have a totally collaborative relationship. I'm constantly saying, hey, dude, what do you think about this? And this is the same page we're looking on. So if you get close, you can see I've got a key up here with little flag colors saying, one, this is original content to be written. This content has been captured in Scrivener, which we'll talk about in a second. This is a post in progress that's being written or something like that. These are all clues and cues to each of us to keep the book going along. Because again, we're trying to get this done fast. Why? Because Mr. Man over there has some big talks in Las Vegas in September. And April to September is a truncated amount of time. We got to get this book done. And because I'm a creative director who's working in advertising forever, I instantly go to, we don't have till September. We have to August 1, because it's got to be at the printer, or it's got to be proofed. And it's, you do that back timing. So we had a very truncated period, and we aren't going to get it done by, well, if you write a new post, email the keystrokes to me and I'll plug it in when I get to it. It's like, no, by the end of Wednesday, I need this. And it's a mutual thing, because again, collaboration is a high-performing team. High-performing teams are mutually encouraging of the other team member to perform at the highest level possible. That's my polite way of saying team members hold each other accountable. You look a little bit closer, you can see, okay, I'm already thinking structure. We need section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5. We need an end sheet for bios, a back cover. What's going to be on the back cover? Book summary, influencer blurbs. Who? Question mark. I don't know. I'm asking the question. I'm capturing the idea that we should be thinking about blurbs already, and we haven't even written the book. If I'm capturing this information in a shareable mind map. Again, this is Meister. It's available online, free. You sign up. You don't have to give them a credit card. They'll allow you to have up to 3 mind maps at any given time. Oh, and you can archive old ones. So there's a way to keep it free for a long, long time. I myself use mind maps all the time because it allows for easy, flexible organization, so much so that I have an application for Mac OS called iThoughts X. And the way that works is this. See that little thing right there? Oh, let's make it a little bigger, shall we? Oh, let's get closer. Oh, website. And this is a website construct that I did for a company. They work in the food space. I've got all the major kind of top nav stuff, you know, the top navigation stuff. Got to capture all that, but take a look. Boom, at any time I can blow it up or shrink it down to be as detailed or non-detailed as I want to be at any time. This is what I mean by, oh my God, thank God for this, because if this is non-linear outlining, and if I want to drag something, like I could drag this whole thing over here, and boom, it's now part of that. Brilliant. If you're a writer and you don't use mind mapping as an outlining tool, at least try it. Your mileage may vary, but if you are someone like me, which is kind of gadfly-y, this saves so much time and effort and pain. I really would encourage you to look at mind mapping in general and then specific tools, and by the way, they're all over the place on PCs as well. Mind mapping, the technique.